Greetings, Earthlings! My name is Zero Jake and welcome back to Space Engineers, where I've done a bit of tinkering. We've, of course, improved the solar power station that we've currently got going on. We've got a second axis that's working. I'll show how that works when we set up a proper farm. But we now have 3 solar panels powering this base. And we've also got 2 batteries so that we can increase our discharge rate and the amount of storage we can have. In addition, we've got ourselves a lovely control station so that we can turn everything off and on and do all kind of things because the conveyor's bugged out again. We've got programmable block, and then we've also got an LCD which is displaying how efficient our farms are going. It has been a bit temperamental, but hopefully by the time I build the farm proper, it should be good. Right. Now, we've got this the lander over here, which I've stripped down most of the top bit off of it, and moved some of the thrusters down there so that we could reduce the mass. I've also thrown on a solar panel onto it so that it can recharge its 4 batteries without too much trouble. We do still, however, only have 14 minutes worth of charge in order to use this thing, which is not the best. We're also out of uranium because whilst I was doing the second battery, the reactor turned on and used up the rest of the uranium we had. So we're low on fuel, which is why we're currently using renewable energy. You're not turning. You should be turning. Yeah, recompile, please. There we go. You should be working now. Good. Realign to the sun. I'm probably going to have a button which just runs all of the programmable blocks again in the control station, so that I don't have to go through every single solar panel plant that we have. Anyway, our goal for today is we are going to locate a source of uranium, and in order to do that we are going to need a ship to fly around in. Now, whilst we do have this one, it is very inefficient when it comes to power usage, which is a massive problem because, well, we're currently using solar panels and they don't produce that much energy. I mean, we've got 2 megawatt hours worth of energy, but most of that was from the reactor rather than the solar panels. The solar panels are charging it faster than we're draining it overnight, but we're still going to need a lot more power in order to do this properly. So we're going to build a smaller ship because smaller ships use less power. It's going to be rechargeable, so we'll have a landing pad with a connector which we can just hop onto, charge all our batteries up, disconnect the connector, turn the batteries to regular so that they discharge, and then we can fly around for a certain amount of time. I also want to put some solar panels on there, which I believe we can't do right now. I'll add a mod that allows me to do it. Yeah, if we press 9 again. Yeah, we can. It's just really big. I've got to create a small ship with that big of a solar panel. I was thinking of making some smaller ones, but okay. Good to give us a challenge. Now, first things first, we're going to need to get ourselves a construction platform. Now, I've got plenty of steel, and I'm going to think we want to go downhill so that we don't, use up the solar panels area of influence. So, starting from over here, we're just going to find this and then start going down the usual way. Now this is going to be fun. Give me a second. Need to go upside down, or alternatively we don't do this. We go forward 1 and then we start going down. Yes, that'll be much better, Jake, because then we can fit a armor block down here, and then build a platform out here. Now, the ship that we're going to be building isn't going to be big, so we're going to build another 5x5 grid. That's by 4, so we just need a few others. Good. Let's go recharge our batteries. Well, no, let's refuel on hydrogen, and then, well, we'll build the platform. Alright, there we go. We have ourselves a nice landing platform to use. Now, before we start, we're going to set up a control. This one will be heavy armor, this one will be usable. Right, so first of all, I want to add my tools back in. And then we want to get the essentials. So first of all, any ship needs a gyroscope. We also need some atmospheric thrusters. We're going to need batteries. We're going to need landing gear, of which I have installed the mod that I love to use, which has a smaller footprint landing gear, if I want to compare the two. This one versus so that's 5 versus 4. As you can see, 4 is smaller, 5 is bigger. Basically so that we can save space on our design. Yes, we're going to be using that. We also need a cockpit, so if we go cockpit, we'll go with a fighter. No, we'll go with a regular cockpit for now. Doesn't need to be that. No, we'll go fighter because fighter usually makes me look better when I'm flying around. We also want to add some cargo containers. So we're going to throw down medium cargo container over there just in case we need it. We're going to need a cargo container to carry ores that we carry back, and also any additional tools or equipment that we want to bring with us when we're flying around. So, first things first, go to control 4, go to 4, I'm going to need some construction component. So we're going to need a mixture of some construction components, construction component, we've got steel plate, we've got steel plate, steel plate, steel plate. Good, right. Don't need large steel tubes to build the, well, don't need large steel tubes to start the construction of atmospheric thrusters, unless... Yep, same thing. We should have the materials to build these anyway, especially if we tear down the engines on the old one. Right, so, first things first, we're going to place down a landing gear. Once I manage to get this aligned with the target. Insert, there we go. We want to place it, no, I don't want it there. 4. Let's place it here. Right? Doesn't necessarily have to be on spot, but it will work for now. So, first things first. We're going to want a base on which to put the cockpit. So if we do this, and then we grab ourselves the fighter cockpit, which is a 6 by something design, 6 by 3 by 4. We place that here, for example. This landing gear will be moved later. So I've got this. I'm then going to place down some of the batteries behind it. So we're going to have battery number 1 and battery number 2. Unless we want some gaps in between. Let's have a look. So fighter cockpit has this large cargo container output on the back, and that's going to be useful. So we're going to throw down the medium cargo container on the back, which requires interior plate. Of course it does. Let's grab some interior plate. We'll probably 20 will do. So we grab interior plate, whack that on there, weld up these, because I need to. Good, right. Right, so we've got the cargo container, and then behind the cargo container we can probably place down some batteries. So we're going to have a battery here. We'll place like that, and then we'll have a battery on top, which we're going to place like this. Okay, we'll make the armor blend in so that that works. That should be that. We're then also going to need to place some gyros, which we'll place on the cargo container. So 1, 2, 3 should be enough, I believe. We can place more if we need to. Okay, good. Now, we're going to need to place down some atmospheric thrusters. So first of all, we're going to need some to slow our movement. So we're going to place a couple of light armor blocks here, and we're going to have these go backwards, like so. Now, luckily, atmospheric thrusters do not cause any armor damage, so we're fine with using them here. But if we were using ion thrusters wouldn't do anything bad anyway. Right, so we got rear-facing atmospheric thrusters to slow us down regularly. We then want some that go in lateral directions, which we'll place probably along the bottom, and then we're going to need main thrusters, a main thruster forward, which will be on the very back. So if we want to go grab that, we want this to be here, so we're going to want to extend this along, and then grab this, put it there. Main thruster backwards, thrusters forward. The way that we've got the cargo container, we should be able to access the contents. Let's actually verify that we can do that first, shall we? So I'm going to need 4 computers, 4 motors, 1 display, and some interior plate. So 4 computers, 4 motors, 1 display, and some interior plate. Yep, we can do that. Yeah, it needs a couple more interior plate, but we should be able to access the inventory from outside, which is good. Even though we can access it from the fighter cockpit, but that's besides the point. Right, so we've got this cargo container, we've got batteries, and we've got main engine. So the next thing that we're going to want is we're going to need side-facing engines and down-facing engines. Now, we can have the down-facing engines like this. So we can have 2 here, and then we can have some additionals along here, and then we can have some here and here and here, and then maybe some more along the front if we need it. But that should provide enough, might provide enough lift. Might have to add more though. So let's duplicate it on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 14 down thrusters. I could probably calculate the weight of this if I needed to. Now that we've got that, there's one more thing that we need to add, and that is a way to recharge our batteries. And the way that we can do this is we can connect to the main battery system over there, over here, with a connector placed on a wall somewhere. We'll probably replace that with a connector so that we can just fly this on top and connect and do all that. The top of this will be a solar panel, if we want to do that. Maybe, if I had the thing equipped. Solar panel, go 4, go here. We've got a connector elsewhere anyway. We grab this and we lock it. That's by 4, isn't it? It is. Okay. Oh, that's going to be troublesome to make everything work together. Such a shame. Anyway, let's go recharge. And what we'll do is we'll paste the. No, that's not going to work either. We can't paste them on the side. We could paste them up here. But that just makes the entire thing really bulky. Right. This design ain't going to work as well as I want it to, so we're going to first of all strip the engines off of here. good. Grab these as well. Grab the batteries. Right. No, this is going to be fun. We're going to move the medium cargo container. Hold up parts of this whilst we can. Right. We still have interior plate. Yes, we do. Right. So if that's on the front, we want... What? What just depressurized? Okay, so I have a plan. What we're going to do is we're going to have armor plating, which we're going to attach solar panels to. We'll duplicate it on the other side. And then in the middle of the armor plating, we're going to have atmospheric thrusters, right? I'm going to place several atmospheric thrusters throughout there. Now, we're also going to want to close this off. Get rid of this one. And then what we're going to do is we're going to place batteries on top, right? So we should be able to fit 1, 2, 3 batteries. 4 if we want to stretch it, but I think 3 is going to be fine. At number 3, we're then going to go and place the medium cargo container, and then at the end of the cargo container, we are going to place a connector. Okay, we place this connector like so. That'll allow us to connect and access this inventory space with ease. Now that's our downward thrust dealt with. The question is, how do we get forward momentum? And an answer to that might include, if we go over to this side, we've got a solar panel going across here, which means that placing things on top of it ain't gonna happen. But we need forward thrust, and we need well, we've got downward thrust anyway. We can place more on the exterior at the front of the ship. Boy, making atmospheric craft is a pain. Right, so if we go grab these, we could create nacelles ish. It's not really a nacelle, but you get the point. We go out a bit, and depressurization effects still make no sense. And then we throw some large atmospheric thrusters on the front. Now, if we were playing with realistic physics, that would not work in the slightest, at all. I mean, putting your center of thrust on the front, no. You'd be dragging everything else behind. It might work, but this just wouldn't fly to begin with. It's just so bad. And that's why it will work here. Because, I don't know, physics in this game is weird. So, let's start. Weld these up. Right, like that. Basically, that's how we're going to do it. And we can place, downwards facing thrusters to keep the thrust up if we need to, but this should work. And also allow us to recharge over here. Now, we may want to add a couple of regular reactors later down the line, but we currently do not have the uranium to do so, so we're going to keep it out. The final thing that we're going to want to do after I recharge my hydrogen is we're going to need some gyros, which we can probably place here, I believe. If we place 3 and then another 3, that should allow us to get everything done. Right, so now that we've got that sorted out, allow me to start welding this thing up, and we'll be back with a finished product. Okay, we're back. It is the middle of the night, and we have nearly finished welding everything. We want to finish welding this solar panel. So there's a few problems with our current situation. Number one is that, well, since it's night, these solar panels, this battery isn't recharging. Now, these solar panels are here just in case we run out of power mid-run or run low on power. So we've got these solar panels, we've got batteries. Now, each of these batteries start with a third of their capacitance filled, which is why those batteries over there started with 1 megawatt hour, and then these guys have started with 300 and something kilowatt hours. Yeah. Roughly around that point. It has drained some power because I was doing some tests. Now, currently, it's the middle of the night, so therefore we can barely see anything. So we're going to need to fit some lights on this thing for nighttime travel. But when we when we turn off just recharge, this thing will be able to discharge, right? So Here's the way that actually I need to turn on recharge constantly so that it doesn't use up any power. Now, the way the batteries work, and you may be deceived by this, is you've got 3 options here: recharge, discharge, and semi-auto. Semi-auto will basically alternate between the two once it will switch to discharge once the power is at maximum, and it will switch to recharge once the power is 0. Okay? If you have none of these options enabled, it will input power and then also output power at the same time. As in, everything goes through the battery, so any excess power goes into the battery, and then the battery outputs any power that's needed. So any excess power from the solar panels will go in here without me needing to reconfigure this mess. Now, each of those batteries over there has 1 megawatt hour worth of energy, right? Worth of capacitance. This has 3. So we technically have 3 megawatt hours of capacitance on that, which is effectively 1 battery. That's fine, because we can fly around for quite a bit with just 1 megawatt hour, 3 megawatt hours worth of energy, which is pretty good. The problem comes, however, that we need to find a way to recharge this quickly, because using these solar panels, it's going to take forever. And again, solar panels are there so we don't get stranded, and we can just, sit there for about several days and recharge enough so that we can fly back home. Now, we're going to need to build something that will allow us to charge this up, which is why we've got this connector on the back. We are going to build on this area a connector so that we can connect to it and through extension recharge and discharge, recharge our batteries and then discharge our cargo containers. So I've got a plan for where we could do this. We're going to place it here on this lovely refinery bit. So we're going to need some conveyor tubes. So it's going to be interior plate and what have you, and we're going to need to build a connector, which is steel plate. So we're going to grab some interior. In fact, we'll grab less interior, and we're going to grab some steel plate. Obviously, we can take some more from the lander over there if need be, which is what I've been doing to get resources, weld, and weld. Right. Now it should just be as simple as accessing one of these, but we're going to take out the collector. Collector is no longer needed for now. We'll move it somewhere else later, but don't need it for now. So let's get rid of that. Weld up a couple of these. Good. We can get this curved conveyor tube online. And then get rid of the rest of it. Weld it. Grind it. And double check that we don't need anything else from here. We just need steel and 10 computers. Right, that's easy enough to do. So let's deposit all of these, grab 10 computers, and then grab steel plate, which we have some in here. Don't have a whole lot of steel plate, but that's because we've just been building with a lot of it. There we go. So we can now access this and do that, and fly it all the way over here. You don't? Yeah, you do. Okay. We need to finish getting rid of this engine anyway, so let's continue doing that. Nearly getting to the point where that engine will stop using large steel tubes. Going to run out of hydrogen. We've still got 9,000 ice, so our hydrogen reserves aren't going to go anywhere in the near future. And finding ice is pretty easy. Right, let's grab the steel first. That's just going to roll off. Okay, fine. Its people needs them. Fly up here, get the connector. Now, we do have enough power in the scout craft in order to fly up here. The only problem is, do we have enough thrust? If we don't, then we're going to do some additional building, but if we do, then, well, we can fly up here and recharge off of the batteries. Since we do have more, no, we don't have enough power. Oh well, we can charge it most of the way and have a fly around if we need to, well, if we want to rather. But power is the biggest concern that we have right now. We want to get a source of uranium so that we can fill the batteries up later, or rather, we want to find a source of uranium now so that we can fill the batteries up, and then we don't have to completely rely on solar power. Solar power is just there to keep the system running in case we run out. There we go. Right. So that's that. We have a connector. We have a connector on there. Now, for the moment of truth, I want hydrogen first. For the moment of truth, I'm going to do a flight test. Now, I'm not 100% positive that this will fly, given that, you know, we're running off of 7 thrusters. Not going to fly. At least that's my professional opinion anyway. So we're going to turn off full discharge, which should allow us to do this, right? Disengage this, and we can fly. Good, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly move us. Actually, I want to disable no, landing gear. I'm going to need to set this up properly at some point, which I will do later. Where's the? There it is. Disable auto lock. That's just going to annoy me. Right, let's fly over. Now, we're going to need to tap we're going to need to tap forward just slightly because it uses a lot of power. Good. Just want to go up a bit more. I want to go to the side, up a bit more, to the side, and then we want to turn. Noting that we haven't got every single system built yet. We've got some more gyros that we could build. We've got another battery to be built as well. Let's get the connector set up. So 3 switch lock for off and on. So we just need to turn around, rotate with the horizon, and backwards, and down. There we go. And lock. There we go. Set on charge, and then we'll be able to do that. Now, the batteries over here, they should be outputting at 12 megawatts, which will basically deplete our entire battery in 15 minutes. But we're only going to charge for, I don't know, 8 minutes so that we can get these batteries up and running. But that should be good. Once we have a reactor, then all of these problems will go away. Anyway. Right, let's get the batteries sorted out. So I want you off in terminal. I want the landing gear as landing gear. Save off in terminal. We've got medium cargo container which can disappear. We've got a fire cockpit, we've got a connector, and we've got solar panel left and right. Good, right. That should be fine. No more needing for us to do anything here. Now, it is becoming daytime. You can see that the atmospheric effects are going round, changing the lightness of this entire thing. So we should see daytime at some point, and we've got a solar panel pointed to the correct area, which is why we built it here instead of over there facing that way. Okay, so with that done, the only thing that we need to do now is, well, wait for this place to be charged up a bit more. We'll leave the third battery disabled so that we can keep some power inside our facility, but we're going to need to build more solar panels in order to increase our generation. Our current output has decreased. No, our current output has increased over our maximum. No, it isn't. Yeah, current output decreased to 4.32. This one's at 4.32. Interesting. Oh, it's because these guys have much more limited input, don't they? If we do this, find battery. Yeah, so the batteries on the small ships have a maximum input of 4.32 megawatts and a maximum output of 4.32 megawatts. Each of our large atmospheric thrusters has 2.4, so one battery can nearly output the same amount that is needed for those two engines alone. Good. Right. With this thing in the sky, we can probably... hang on, this isn't built yet, is it? No, it isn't. We need a detector component. Right, okay. So we're going to grab a detector component and then we're going to fly around for a bit and see if we can try and find a deposit of anything, right? At this point, I would love it if I could get any kind of resource. Uranium would be the number one thing that I want because we're going to need some more power in order to keep this thing running more. Silicon is also something that we want. Iron is something that we definitely want. Silicon, iron, and nickel so that we can get the solar panels or the solar farm built so that we can get more power, obviously. I'm still going to do exactly the same style that we have, which is 2 batteries, 1 steel per pylon. Should help us keep everything on top of everything. I'm talking rubbish right now. Anyway, you should be filled to something quite useful. If we go... no, batteries won't work. Battery. Yeah, you're up to 500. Nearly doubled the charge that we had before we started. The solar panel is getting... that's 28. This is 0. 28. Yeah, so these solar panels aren't as efficient as the ones the main ones that we're using. We also need to finish up that solar panel over there, but I don't think we have enough solar cells in order to do so. We have 76, and that requires 64. Oh, okay, we do. So we'll go do that quickly so that we can increase our power. and then we'll take the ship for a test run. So let's grab solar cells and start doing this. Come on, it's over here, right. And 10 more. There we go. That should work. If I go down here, this thing's probably, yeah. Recompile, please. There we go. We should now start moving again. There we go. So I think the way that this works is this will find the optimal angle to be at, and then all of the other duplicate, so the main rotor, this one's the main rotor, we'll try and find the best arrangement to be in that's above the parameter that we set, which is, I believe, 100. 110. And once it has, it will then reorient all of the other rotors into that position. That's the way that it works. And then if the power on the main drops below a certain number, then it will reconfigure. And then all the other panels on the same tower will do the same. Now we could just have it as a massive, a single massive thing. I can't speak. We could have it as a single massive solar panel. There are multiple designs that I could use, but for now we'll stick with this tower. You're all nearly depleted. Right. Okay. So we'll turn off the recharge on this because we don't need to anymore. And now these batteries should just be getting the regular amount, right? Battery. Battery, you are now inputting 33, and the other batteries are inputting 80 something. Good. That is working as intended. So now with that working, we're going to go around for a flyby, considering the, let's see, ore detector. Ore detector has a range of 50 meters. Right. And it's also broadcasting using antennas. We don't want to do that. Right, so using this ore detector, we should be able to find any deposit within 15 meters. Now, what would be better if we built a tracked vehicle or a wheeled vehicle that we could use to roll around? That would be more fuel efficient or energy efficient. But I due to the speed at which I want to get resources right now, it's going to be much easier just to locate them. Last thing that I want is I want a drill. And I also want to refill my hydrogen. And there we go. And now we shall depart. Oh god, that's fast. Off we go. Okay, so over there in the distance, this area here, we're looking for splotches on the ground that we can go over to. They're usually darker splotches, as you can see. It's darker. We need to get close to it. And then try and locate, yeah, so we've got some silicon. And we've got uranium. Excellent. So we should be able to get some resources from there, and all will be good. I just need to land in a proper location. We also want to be oriented with the path of the sun, so we need to rotate around. And then we just land like this. Good. And then we set this thing to recharge. Yep, we set it to recharge. We're now using solar power. And then we can just locate where we want to go. So control 1 will be our designated mining 1. Grab drill. So where is... We need to add an antenna onto this anyway. The deposit is directly below. Good. Okay, so we're just going to start mining. There we go, uranium deposit down there. We're making sure that we do a spiral so that we can get back up. At least that's the theory anyway. It's quite a large hole created by this. Yeah, disable this. This isn't uranium, by the way, this black coloured. It's going to be darker black. Come on, down. Thank you. There we go. Uranium, everybody. We're just going to wait for all of these stones to disappear because they're painful. Let's excavate a bit more of the sides, shall we? Whilst we are wasting uranium doing this, I don't care. It's so that we can get some without getting stone. See? Stone everywhere. So we're just going to grab the uranium. And then we're going to head back so that we can use that uranium to recharge a bit more. Oh god, I hate uranium deposits. They're full of stone. Yep, you can stop doing that. Right. We've got less than a K of uranium in storage. I should probably deposit the grinder and welder back, shouldn't I? Also, we need to go up, make sure that we have a proper tunnel. Right. There we go. There we go. We have a lovely tunnels that we've carved in here. So we're going to throw down a GPS location, new from current position. Deposit. Okay, fine. You are uranium, right? And Si, which is silicon. Right. Got some uranium. Gonna head back to end the episode because, you know, don't want to watch me constantly mining for the next 10 billion years. So we're gonna get up here. We're going to disable recharge. We're gonna unpark and we're gonna fly back home. Well, it's good that we found a uranium deposit only 500 meters away. Makes everything easier. There is another. I already had a design for the scout craft, but given our current limited resources, we wouldn't have been able to build it. It's a much better design, which we will be building, and I've built before during the planetary version, I believe. Anyway, let's land with our solar panels in the correct way. We'll only recharge if we need to. Lock, and then enable recharge. Get out, access the connector, grab the uranium, and chuck it into the refinery. And there we go, we have a source of uranium again. So now we've got uranium incoming. We're probably going to want to improve the efficiency of the refinery so that it doesn't, so that we get more uranium and also so that we get it faster. But what I've done to stop myself destroying our uranium supply is by disabling the small reactors conveyor system. So it will no longer pull the uranium into itself, which it would be if the refinery was online. Well, it would be if we did allow that. So yeah, we now have a source of uranium, which should keep us very, very happy for the near future. So next episode we'll be working on I don't know. We're probably going to be working on starting to lay out a proper base now that we've got, you know, a way to get resources. Alternatively, we might build a mining ship or a cargo rover or something like that. I need to create a to-do list here at some point. But until then, my name has been Zero Jake. End transmission.